tonight. And I'm happy to introduce Huiyin Cheng, who will be your MC tonight, your host. Let me bring up Huiyin. And here we go. Huiyin's going to tell us a little bit about tonight and also introduce Tak, our featured guest tonight.
Can everyone hear me and see me? If you guys can hear me and see me, give me a thumbs up from at the bottom right corner. Oh, awesome, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Well, my name is Huiyin. And not sure if you guys can guess, Tak is my dad. It is an extreme pleasure and an extreme, makes me extremely happy and proud of my dad to see him live stream for all of us today, and to kind of to show us how to cook 3 meals in 30 minutes. I just want to share a little bit about my dad and I. I remember my dad always loved cooking. He always loved cooking when I was a young kid, and to see him cook and teach and learn, teach others on how to cook has always been something that I've seen him do while growing up. He's even tried to teach me how to cook as well. And so I'm super excited when he said that he was interested in live streaming so that he can really expand his audience and do more like live cooking shows like what you're going to see today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my dad, Tak Cheng, Walk with Tak. Before we do that, I just got one short thing. Later down in the after the 30 minutes of his presentation, there's like a white connect button you can see on the top right corner, probably on this corner, and it says connect. Later down the road, when you go and talk to other people at other tables, where you can connect with other members and other people that are interested in Walk with Tak, you can connect with them onto the community and talk with them afterwards and share some of the things of experiences that you've had with Walk with Tak, and also some recipes if you would like, and they'll be sharing it inside the community, and that will be afterwards. So for now, let's just start. I would love to bring up my dad, Walk with Tak. Press the clap icon to welcome him on the bottom right. Dad, would you like to come up? Dad, come on up. All right, my dad's doing.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's such a great pleasure for me to doing this live stream event. Now, I know that there's a lot of technology that is involved to make all this happen. So right now, first of all, I want to acknowledge that my wife, Joni, she's helping me, and she's going to be the switcher. So anything go wrong, you can blame her, not me, okay? No, I'm just kidding. So what I'm going to do today is that for those of you who have been on my YouTube channel, you probably know that I do a lot of cooking on the YouTube channel, and the goal of my cooking system, which I call it the fast cooking system, is to be able to cook a meal in 30 minutes or less using all fresh and unprocessed ingredients. So I'm going to kind of talk you through it. For those of you who have been on my YouTube channel, you probably know basically what I do. But I think the live stream provides me with this excellent opportunity that I can actually take you all the way through from beginning to end. So first of all, like as soon as you come home very late at night and you are really tired and you say, well, I can stop at a fast food place, or can I just make a dinner in 30 minutes? And you said to yourself, I'd like to have some chicken. Okay, if you want a chicken, so first thing you go into the freezer, you get out a bag of chicken like this. Now, what it looks like is that this is actually frozen, and I already cut it ahead of time. Now, obviously, to have chicken, a lot of time, the problem is that if you have it frozen, the chicken is too big a piece to thaw it out. So by cutting it up, it saves time. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put it into a bowl of warm water, like right here. And I'm going to start cooking other dishes first. I'm going to cook 3 dishes today. And by the time when I finish cooking the 2 first dish, this will be ready. Now, so you walk into your kitchen and you go to the refrigerator. And the key of my cooking system is that prepping in advance. I'm going to show you here of all the things I'm going to use tonight. Now you notice that I have this container. These are Rubbermaid containers, and you need to buy the Rubbermaid container because I have heavily invested in the stock. So please buy Rubbermaid. No, I'm kidding. The nice thing about this container is that they are all the same size, so you can stack on top of each other. The same footprint, 2 different sizes, a small one and a large one, and they all have the same cap. So the end result is that you can stack them together. You don't have to worry about losing your cap. So today, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open up. These are the things that if you do it, for those of you who have been to my video, you know that I strongly recommend you to go prep in advance. So by prepping in advance, you are able to cook very quickly because all you have to do is go in the kitchen and to pick up, or go in the refrigerator to pick up what you want. Okay. So the first dish I'm going to cook is an egg and tomato with some scallion. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to stack them over here, get them out of the way a little bit. So this is scallion, which I'm going to use. Okay, let me find my tomato. Sometimes they try to hide away from me. Okay. So now there's a French term in cooking. Yeah, there's a French term in cooking. It's called mise en place. Mise en place means that to have everything in advance. Somebody is laughing at me, so I don't know why. But anyway, so I'm going to show you how to cook this dish. Now, I'm looking at the time now. Somebody is hungry and they say, well, we want to eat real quick. So I'm going to use this wok I'm going to use here is a 14-inch light cast iron wok. Now, wok is the part of the most popular video that I ever made. Everybody loves woks. Well, for numerous reasons. Next time when I do the live stream, I'm going to tell you a lot about woks, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and show you the flame right here. And this is a, actually this is a camping stove because I'm cooking in the kitchen. This is much easier for me to do it. So I'm going to heat up the wok. Now, for those of you who have been to my video, you know that I always talk about seasoning a wok using the corner camera. Thank you. So I always talk about using the spot seasoning method that will allow you to season the wok very quickly so that things won't stick to it. Now, remember this wok do not have non-stick coatings. The oil I'm going to use right here is canola oil, okay? I'm going to heat up the wok first. You want it to be hot enough before you put the oil in it. And so there's one way to test that. They call mercury test. You drop some water in it and they form beads, but I'm not going to do that, okay? So I'm going to put oil in it. Now, you cannot see it from the camera, but you do see it. You notice that the oil starts to smoke slightly, right? So I'm going to turn this down, and I want the oil to smoke for about 10 to 15 seconds because this is the way for the wok to be seasoned. And this is what I call the spot seasoning method. If you do it each time, you don't have to worry about it. Now I'm going to cook this egg. It's like a scrambled egg. Now the oil is getting real hot. I'm going to turn it off for a minute. And because I don't want to smoke up the place. So instead of beat up the egg, I'm going to crack the egg directly into the wok. I'm going to do 6 eggs. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat back up on. Now, this is the time I'm going to break up the egg. Now this method is for lazy people. So if you don't want to spend time to break up the egg, but there's another very important advantage, is that when you fry the egg like this, the egg yolk and the egg white actually going to cook differently, and it gives a much nicer texture. Now, things stick to the bottom of the wok, right? So I'm going to put the tomato in it. I already have it cut up. And I'm going to fold the egg around the tomato like I would do with an omelet. Looks good. We are getting there. So the next thing is that I'm going to season the egg. I'm going to use a, which I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to using this seasoning agent, which I make up together, and I'm going to put some into it. And then finally, I'm going to put a little bit scallion. Okay. So the dish is done, one is done. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put it onto a plate. Let me get things out of the way. Now I want you to notice one thing is that you can see the egg yolk and the egg white actually separate from each other. And by using this method to crack the egg directly, it actually has a great advantage because it gives the egg a more distinct texture. Okay, so one dish is done. It takes very little time. And I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of oyster sauce. So what you have here is, I'm going to put it a bit over the camera, a little bit closer. Looks nice, isn't it? Huh? Looks very beautiful because of the different coloring. Okay, so I'm going to set it aside. Now we're going to cook the second dish. So this dish is very quick, right? It only takes about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm going to turn this back on. I'm not going to wash the wok because you know, the next dish I'm going to cook, it will pick up actually not much flavor from the egg. So again, I'm going to put a bit of oil in it. The wok is already hot. Now you notice that I use this wok spatula, which is a stainless steel wok spatula. It's a traditional wok spatula, and it has a long handle. And oops, hang on a minute. I think we are out of battery. I'm going to change the battery. You can switch back to the main camera. Sorry about that. I'll be right there. First time, always problem. We'll be right there. Battery coming. I have to get rid of this camera. Okay, you can switch the camera back, see whether it works or not. Okay, we are back in business. Okay, back to cooking the fried rice. So the next dish I'm going to cook is that I'm going to make some fried rice. And the rice is already cooked. And so all I have to, it is important that when you make fried rice, the rice has to be nice and dry. So I'm going to put the rice right into it. Now you notice that the rice is a little bit hard. So the way to break it up is to use something called a hamburger meat chopper. As you can see, this breaks up really nice. So here I use about a little bit over 1 cup of fried rice. I'm going to cook a vegetarian fried rice. So I'll make sure I get the rice mixed up. Now you want to cook the rice a little bit so that they got slightly fried, because that gives the rice a little bit crispness, and that's what makes the rice taste good. I'm going to make a hole in the middle of the wok, and I'm going to put a little bit more oil right here, because I'm going to fry a couple eggs right in the middle. This again, there are many ways to cook the fried rice with fried eggs. This is one of the way, and this way allow you to mix the rice right into the egg, and it gives a nice texture to it. Okay, so I'm going to let the egg fry a bit. I'm going to break it up slightly. Okay, I'm going to mix it in. Now they call this method a golden fried rice because you give the fried rice a nice golden color from mixing up with the rice. Now I'm going to put the ingredients. Now you notice that what I'm putting here is that this little chunk, they are actually asparagus. Now you know that asparagus toward the end should be a little bit tough because there are fibers in it, but by cutting them into smaller pieces, it actually gives them a nice, easier to cook. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit onion. I'll put a little bit mushroom. Now again, remember, I have all this already prepped in advance. Okay, we might as well put in the kitchen sink, right? I happen to have some yellow squash. Okay, we are getting there. Now, because everything are cut up into very small pieces, so they cook really fast. Okay, now this looks like a nice fried rice. Again, I'm going to add a little bit of my basic seasoning. I don't use very much salt because I am a strong proponent of eating as little salt as possible because salt causes high blood pressure. Now at this point, if you are in the room with me, this fried rice smells really good because of the different vegetables that are being used. And in many ways, this is a very healthy fried rice. And I wish in Chinese restaurants, they make fried rice like this, but they don't, of course. In fact, this fried rice, because of the flavor, it has very nice complex flavor. So personally, because I know what I like, and I'm going to put a touch of oyster sauce, not very much. And I'm going to put a touch of hoisin sauce. And then finally, last but not the least, I'm going to put in some scallions. Again, you notice that when I cook, I don't measure. I have a friend who's a chef. He said, never measure, because by judging the amount you put into it, you increasingly understand the flavor better. Okay, we are done. So second dish is done. How are we doing for time? I think we're about 15 minutes into the time. Oh, this looks good. Better turn off the heat here. So now you can season this dish in many different ways. And obviously you can put in almost anything into your fried rice. And in this case, I put in basically mainly the ingredients that I happen to have. And if I have different ingredients, I put in other ones. Now, I'm a strong proponent for eating lots of vegetables. So one purpose of this is that to create a fried rice that with a lot of vegetables that has the greatest health value. Okay, I'd like you to take a look at the wok. Oh, let me just show you the fried rice again. So you see, looks really great, right? So we have 2 dishes done. So the next dish, I'm going to cook some chicken. Again, I'm not going to wash the wok, but however, I don't want the rice to be in there. So I'm going to get a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to take the wok spatula over to the sink and just brush off the rice in here. I don't want to wash it because I don't want to get it dry, because then I have to get it wet, because then I have to dry it. And of course, you know, if you don't dry it properly, the oil and the water will cause problem. So as long as you get most of the rice off, you're okay. And then I'm going to take the wok over there and do the same thing. So far so good, right? We are getting there. And I know hungry people will say, come on, hurry up. But we still have 15 minutes, right? Are we doing okay in time? I think so. Okay, so now you can go back and you look at the wok, it's nice and clean. So I'm going to turn the heat back on. And the next step, before we that, we need to cook the chicken. So I'm going to do something with the chicken first. So if you come over here, let's see, the chicken should be thawed out by now. So I'm going to take the chicken. Yep, look at that. The chicken, let me show you over here. The chicken is all soft and thawed out. So it was frozen, and in 10 minutes, we are ready to go. And if you want to do the prep the chicken lightweight, I have a video that will show you how to do that. So you can take a look at that video. So there's some water in the here, probably from leaking. So I'm going to drain out the water. I'm going to put the over here first, and I'm going to kind of squeeze the bag a little bit. I don't want to have too much water in it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So it's one of those things. You never be quite sure. So I'm going to put the chicken in here. Now, there's a method to make the chicken cook a little bit, give it a nice texture. It's called velveting. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And to give chicken a nice flavor, I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of garlic. Now, if you don't like garlic, of course, you can skip it. But I think most people like garlic. In this case, because the way how we cook it, you actually do not taste the flavor of the garlic. So I'm going to get a spoon or a fork and mix it in. Now, actually, the nice thing about mix the chicken like this is that the cornstarch will pick up some of the moisture. So when you put the chicken in the wok, it will not splash. Otherwise, you know, the water will causing the oil to splash. Okay, I got it all mixed up. So looks good. I'm going to turn the wok back on. Now, I'm going to actually fry the chicken, use a method called shallow frying. What I do is that it will allow me to give the chicken a nice crispy texture. So I'm going to put some oil in it. I put a little bit more oil than usual because I'm going to fry the chicken. Now, one thing you should always have is to have a tongue. This tongue is very useful because it will allow you to move the chicken around in such a way. And so I'm going to use the tongue, and I'm going to lay out the chicken on the surface of the wok like this. Now you notice that because of the cornstarch, the chicken do not like splash. Otherwise, it will cause, because the water in it, it will cause the chicken to, cause the oil to splash. So I'm going to let it cook like this for about maybe 20 to 30 seconds. This actually is an excellent method for preparing cooking chicken because this approach will allow you to create a crisp texture on the surface of the chicken. So keep an eye on the chicken right now. What's the problem? Oh, okay. We have another battery problem, but right now it's still working. Maybe you don't need to look at me anyway. Let me just finish cooking this. Okay. So I'm going to turn the chicken around now. And you notice that the chicken to give a nice browning. I'm going to change the another thing is that when you buy your pair of tongs, make sure you get a pair of tongs with a long handle, okay? Because you don't want to get too close to the wall. Okay, I'm going to turn the chicken around. Did you see how it gives a nice browning? I'm going to turn it around and have it fry on the other side. Now, this method is commonly known as shallow frying. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to season the chicken. I'm going to season the chicken with a teriyaki flavor. And I'm going to use, first I'm going to use something called a hoisin sauce. And then I'm going to use the oyster sauce and together with some soy sauce and sugar. Unfortunately, you cannot see it, but don't worry about it. Okay, so now the chicken is almost done. I'm going to move it around. It smells really good. The garlic gives a nice fragrance. Okay, so I'm going to put the sauce in it. This is hoisin sauce. This is the oyster sauce. And I'm going to put a little bit of dark soy sauce. Then I put some scallion. And I'm going to turn the heat off now because it's done. And it smells really good. Okay, now it is done. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to put it in a plastic container, and I'm going to change the battery. I'm going to just put this in a, okay, if you switch the camera to this side. Okay, so I'm going to go over and switch the camera. This is my mistake. I should have used fresh battery because we have been testing the camera along the way, and that's why they keep running out. Well, you can penalize me for the time on this. Okay, try camera one. Okay, we are back in business. So what I have done is that I have cooked the chicken in advance. So now I'm going to cook the vegetable, and I put the chicken on top of the vegetable. You might ask the question is that why don't you cook them all together? The reason is that this will give much better flavor to the dish. Okay, so again, I'm going to turn the heat back on, and I'm going to cook a vegetable medley. But the primary vegetable that I'm going to use is broccoli. And then I'm going to cook it with yellow squash, zucchinis, and everything like that. So, like I said, the primary one is I'm going to use broccoli. I'm going to use lots of broccoli. So this will be the, I would call it the primary ingredient. And then this will be basically complemented by other ingredients. Now, you notice that the broccoli sucks up oil readily. It's like a sponge because of the floret of the broccoli. So I'm going to put a little bit more oil. But you can tell the broccoli starts to getting a little bit more well, looks like I might need more oil, but don't worry, I know exactly where I'm more oil. Okay, while we're doing that, I'm going to get more oil. Okay, we got more oil. So the next is that I'm going to put some yellow squash. And I'm going to put some purple cabbage. Give it a nice different color. Now the step in here, what I am doing is that I am stir frying it to create better flavor, because there's a well-known chemical equation or chemical reaction known the Maillard reaction. You might not heard of that. In this reaction, said that any food that cooks above temperature of 250 to 300 degrees will generate flavor molecule. And as you notice that I keep adding a little bit more oil because my wok is getting really dry, as you can see at the bottom. And when you fry them like this, it generates nice flavor molecule in the food. Okay, so the next step I'm going to do is that I'm going to steam the vegetable. I'm going to put water in it now. So basically the process is two steps. You stir fry it first, and then you steam it, which I generate a lot of steam, as you can tell. So this step is that you want to steam the vegetable in such a way that creates a nice flavor, as well as the proper texture, so they will not be too crunchy. But in this step, you can decide how crunchy you want the vegetable to be. Now, if you want it to be softer, then you steam it longer. So I'm going to put a little bit more water. I try to put only a little bit water at a time, because too much water, you take the flavor away from the ingredients. You want to put in just right amount of water, not too much. So things are looking good. We are getting there. So at this step, I'm going to put in some mushroom. The reason I put in the mushroom toward the end, because I do not want to cook the mushroom too much. And because you want the mushroom to retain its texture. As you can see, things are moving along pretty good. I think we are getting time. I think we're supposed to be by 10 to the hour, which is 8 o'clock here. That is about 30 minutes. Okay, I'm telling them to hurry up, cook quick. So the last but not the least, I put in some red pepper. What the heck, I'm gonna put all of them in there. And you see how nice the color that we have generated at this stage. So I'm going to now, the next step is that put in my magic seasoning. I call it magic seasoning. Okay. Now, this is the best way to eat vegetable because it gives you a nice, different type of texture, different flavor. And anybody who eats vegetable like this, they will come to like it because of the different texture, and it creates a complex flavor. Lastly, I'm going to touch base a little bit of oyster sauce, not very much. And I'm going to put just a touch of hoisin sauce to coat the vegetable to give them a nice flavor. Okay, we are almost done. We have 2 or 3 minutes left. So I'm going to serve this on here. Boy, that's a lot of vegetable. I think I put a lot of broccoli in there. This will be my lunch too. But the nice thing is that you look at how colorful this dish is. And in fact, CDC, Center of Disease Control in the United States, one thing they put out is that they said in order to stay healthy, you should eat food like the color of the rainbow, because different color represent different type of nutrients that are in it. And we all know that is a very important aspect of nutrition. Okay, so the next step is that I'm going to put my chicken over it. Unfortunately, my plate is not as big as I would like to. I have more. Reason I do this separately because now when you eat the chicken, the flavor of the chicken is more intense. If I cook everything together, you will not have the same intensity of the flavor, and this makes the dish more interesting. Again, I should have used a bigger plate, or I should have cooked less. Either way, it's a miscalculation on my part. You would think I would know, right? But okay, so we have 1 or 2 minutes to spare. Hope there's a piece of extra. Good. So I'm gonna move this out of the way so I can show you all the 3 dishes we cook. Now I actually invite some friends over to eat with me after I cook all this, but they have to babysit so they can come. So we have this dish, and we have this. Okay, so now dinner is served. Thank you. Okay, so now we are all ready to eat. Are you guys ready? Bring your bowl and bring a plate and a fork and chopstick, and we are ready to go. Okay, so thank you, everybody. It's done. So what happened next?
Hey, Dad. Oh, stay in camera, Dad. Stay in camera. Stay in camera.
Okay, stay where I am. Okay.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, Dad. For that was amazing. I don't know about what you guys saw, but that was some amazing camera work. That's the first time Tak has done camera work like that on live stream. So I want to just give my dad like a round of applause. Click on the clap emoji on the bottom right icon. Thank you. All right, cool. So here is going to be the next most important part. You guys have to stay for this, okay? So right after this, we're going to go back to the tables. And the tables, my dad is going to be going around each of the tables, and you can go and talk to him yourself. And he's going to share a little bit about, answer questions that you guys may have. I see some questions in the Q&A. You guys get a chance to ask him directly there. And also, I wanted to share something really quick with you, and it's really important. If you look at the screen that we're in, and I'm gonna connect button. let's try to see if we can flip this back. See if we can flip this back. You'll see this little white connect button, this little white icon here on the top left. So if you're talking to someone and you feel like you're connecting with that person and you really want to talk to them afterwards, click on this white button. You'll be able to connect with that person in the Walk with Talk community. So you get to talk to other people who also watch Walk with Talk, and if you want to connect with them and learn that, that'll be great. Yeah, let's see if we can change the screen back. Katrina or George, you can see if you can change the screen back to those tile view. So like this white icon on the top left, make sure you click on it, connect with others. You get a chance to develop. There we go. So you can see like there's these white icons here. Once you click on that, you can then connect with them inside the community and also continue to get updates from Walk with Talk. All right. Please stay and meet Talk at the tables, and I'll see you guys down there. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.